All right, in an interview with ESPN.com's Michael Rodak, running back LeSean McCoy was asked about what went wrong with Chip Kelly before he was traded to the Eagles, to the Bills this offseason, and this is what he had to say. He said, I think that's the way he runs his team. He wants the full control. You see how fast he got rid of all the good players, especially all the good black players. He got rid of them the fastest. That's the truth. There's a reason why. It's hard to explain with him, but there's a reason why he got rid of all the black players, the good ones, like that. Stephen A. Smith has talked about it. Other players have talked about it. When he let Deshaun Jackson go, I was like, come on, Deshaun Jackson. So it is what it is. Obviously, the Eagles declined to comment on McCoy's statements. The entire interview is up on ESPN.com right now, entitled LeSean McCoy. I'm going to show them. Stephen A., I'll start with you first. I'm glad you're back with us. I know we're having a few issues, but it's good to see you. Tell me, what did you think about McCoy's comments?
Well, I appreciate his honesty and his willingness to be forthcoming. I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything like that, but Skip, you know me. You've known me for 20 years. You know, I make statements and I say things. As bold as this may sound, I'm going to say this so everybody will know. I talk to people. I specifically told you that the day I said that about Chip Kelly. No matter what sport it is, if I open my mouth and I tell you about a perspective, it's because I speak to folks inside locker rooms. Basketball, football, clubhouses, boxing, it doesn't matter. We have a foundation, Skip, you plus 40 years, me plus 20 years. We don't just sit there and make statements because it's how we feel without us saying it's just us and this is how we feel. When we sit there and we illuminate a particular subject, particularly of a sensitive nature, we do it because of what we're hearing, because that's our job. I told y'all, I wrote in Philadelphia for 16 years. When I get my hair cut, other than my boy in Queens, my man Marlon, I'm usually on Spring Garden and 15th Street with my boy Chris Brock and the crew. I walk around the streets of Philadelphia. This is where I lived for 16 years. I make a statement about Chip Kelly. Where the hell you think I'm getting it from? I spoke to a bunch of people inside that Philadelphia Eagles locker room, not just in the aftermath of losing Deshaun Jackson, but also with LeSean McCoy, also with Jeremy Maclin. And what I said to y'all was echoed to me. I don't understand this, Stephen A. We gone, meaning those players. And Riley Cooper's here. Now, it wasn't LeSean McCoy that said that to me. It wasn't Deshaun Jackson that said that to me. The players who said it to me were black. And they said we as in black players. Because they were like, we don't understand it. We ain't going to say anything about the man because he's a hell of a coach. He's very innovative. He's winning football games. But damn, how is it that Riley Cooper's here? First of all, he's not as good as these players. And secondly, we all know his history. So how is it that you're comfortable with him in the locker room, but we're somehow problematic? And then you had all of these people out there using strictly numbers. Well, you know, Chip just has a different way of doing things, and he doesn't want to spend this amount of money, and he doesn't want to spend that amount of money. I'll tell you something else, Skip, that I've been hearing. It's one of the reasons DeMarco Murray's in Philadelphia. Because Chip was feeling that kind of heat, at least that's what the players believe, that he was feeling that kind of heat because of the things that were illuminated, and as a result felt compelled to make a move. Now, obviously, that's not the only reason DeMarco Murray can play. You need a straight north-south runner. All of those things taken into consideration. But these are the things that I was told. And so it's really, really nice that LeSean McCoy has come out and publicly acknowledged how he feels and how a lot of those guys in that locker room were feeling, because it's nothing different than what I said.
I appreciate everything you did just say. You know how much I believe in you, and I always have your back. and I had your back on this one.
Yes, you do.
And just for the record, going back to Riley Cooper, as you well remember, the day after that word came out of that man's mouth at that concert, I said he has to be gone from that locker room. The Eagles, as an organization, had to make a statement that will not be tolerated. That most evil word in the history of the English language will not be tolerated, uttered in public, no matter what the circumstance, by one of our players. That player, as you just pointed out, is still a Philadelphia Eagle. Now, back to what LeSean said, and he did reference you in the course of all the things that he did say. Thank you for that, LeSean. Back to one line that he spoke, and I need your perspective on this. LeSean said, it's hard to explain with Chip, but there's a reason he got rid of all the black players. So I ask you, Stephen A. Smith, is it racist, or is it just the fact, possibly, that all of his skill position stars just happen to be black? I don't know for sure, because the Eagles obviously will not respond to this. Chip Kelly has never responded to it that I know of. I haven't heard him respond to it. So is it a direct shot at he's racist, or is it, gee, we were his best players and they just happen to be black players, and obviously Chip wants to be the star of this show?
Allow me to answer the question as directly as I possibly can. I will never call anybody a racist unless I see for myself their transgressions. Chip Kelly making these decisions doesn't make him a racist. It would be incredibly irresponsible and unfair for me or anybody else to label him that. However, as a black man, when you sit there and you witness what you witnessed from Riley Cooper, and then you saw how the Eagles handled it, basically sending him away, talking about, needed time, rehabilitation, education, or whatever. And it literally lasted a weekend. And then he was back. It reeked of insensitivity. And then when you take that and you think about the February calendar that the Eagles purportedly have nothing to do with, that was an NFL thing, or they put it out for somebody else to use, to do, or whatever, and that's how Riley Cooper ended up on the cover of the Philadelphia calendar for the month of February, Black History Month. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. And then when you couple all of that with the biggest deep threat, DeSean Jackson, gone. With one of the top running backs in football, LeSean McCoy, gone. With one of a pretty damn good wide receiver in Jeremy Maclin, gone. It does make you sit back as a black person and say, what are you trying to say? What do you mean DeSean Jackson was a problem in the locker room? What do you mean that, LeSean McCoy's attitude or whatever? These are the questions. And what people have to understand is that when somebody black is asking you a question, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're racist. It would be wrong to say that about Chip Kelly. I don't know this man. I've never met the man. I could never say that about him. That's ridiculous. What I can say is, I'm sitting back here as a black person. We're talking about the National Football League, where talent is numero uno. You got to have the skills. Yep. And somehow, some way, a Riley Cooper is good enough to be on your team. But 3 elite dudes are not. There's nothing wrong with stepping up and saying, forget all this stuff about people calling you names and putting ourselves in a position where we have to defend ourselves. No, you defend why you made these decisions. Inquiring minds would like to know. We don't understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to give the Eagles. And by the way, Skip, for the record, for the purposes of this show, because you know how I roll, I picked up the phone, I called the Eagles. I asked for a one-on-one sit-down with Chip Kelly. Good. I didn't even have my phone call returned. I didn't even have it returned. I personally requested it right when I said it, and I'm still waiting to hear from them, just so you know. Nobody's running, because I would sit there and ask them, I'd like you to explain. I really don't understand. Please explain to me. Because you're trying to win football games, right? Yeah. Trying to win football games.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that on the record. Now take me back to LeSean's quotes one last time. Let's go one more level here. LeSean did say that Chip wants full control. As I've often said from the start about Chip Kelly, he wants to be the star. He wants to run that show. He wants it to revolve around him and his offensive system. Fine. But then LeSean took us right to the threshold with, it's hard to explain with Chip, but there's a reason he got rid of all the black players. Well, if LeSean had taken one more step, I would know more about what LeSean's view of this really is, because he said it's hard to explain, which leaves me wondering what exactly is hard to explain. Can you read anything into that? Is there one more step that we can even theorize to take here with LeSean, what he's seeing or feeling?
It's hard to say, Skip. I haven't spoken to LeSean about this particular subject in quite some time. I really don't know. You know, again, it falls in line with what we're talking about in terms of when we're scratching our head. We're scratching our head and looking at it and saying, you know, hey, what is this? We don't quite understand. That's all this is about. That's all I'm saying.
And again, to your original point, he did sign DeMarco Murray. Obviously, DeMarco got paid. He got paid big time, much more than he would have gotten paid to stay with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Byron Maxwell got paid to play cornerback and take the void. You know, there are a lot of voids at cornerback in Philly, but Kerry Williams went obviously to Seattle. So in the end, I'm still left wondering exactly what's going on, but I love it that you took that first step to at least open people's eyes and make them think about it. And now I would like to see the follow-up step of the Eagles and especially the head coach to respond publicly to this.
LeSean McCoy adds this in the article: I have no hatred toward him, nothing to say negative about him. When he got to Philadelphia, I didn't know what to expect. He obviously says he loves the Eagles fans and he loves the city. Again, the article in ESPN The Magazine entitled, LeSean McCoy, I'm going to show them with the Bills. Floyd is 48-0. Will he go for 50 and try to break Rocky Marciano's record? That's the question. We discuss that as well as a possible opponent after the break. First take, folks. That's the full control. You see how fast he got rid of all the good players, especially all the good black players. He got rid of them the fastest. That's the truth. There's a reason why. It's hard to explain with him, but there's a reason why he got rid of all the black players, the good ones, like that. Stephen A. Smith has talked about it. Other players have talked about it. When he let Deshaun Jackson go, I was like, come on, Deshaun Jackson. So it is what it is. Obviously, the Eagles declined to comment on McCoy's statements. The entire interview is up on ESPN.com right now.
And his willingness to be forthcoming. I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything like that, but Skip, you know me. You've known me for 20 years. You know, I make statements and I say things. As bold as this may sound, I'm going to say...
Now, entitled LeSean McCoy, I'm going to show them. Stephen A., I'll start with you first. I'm glad you're back with us. I know we're having a few issues, but it's good to see you. Tell me, what did you think about McCoy's comments?
Well, I appreciate his honesty.
All right, in an interview with ESPN.com's Michael Rodak, running back LeSean McCoy was asked about what went wrong with Chip Kelly before he was traded to the Eagles, to the Bills this offseason, and this is what he had to say. He said, I think that's the way he runs his team. He wants